Hello and welcome to I Am with Eric Faria. Today I have with me Spencer Jacobson, who is the founder of the RealMan podcast and also the CEO of Guided, a platform for coaches. So thank you for being here,
Yeah,
Spencer.
absolutely. I'm excited to be here. It's been a while.
It has been a while, yes. So yeah, I wanted to start by asking you, where did the idea for RealMan, the podcast, come about?
That's such a good question and can go back quite a ways. I'd say that the inspiration really started as a kid where I grew up loving to express myself and sing and dance, and at some point along the line that just became something that boys don't do. Where I grew up in Newton, Massachusetts. And so I just have this memory of both in my family and in school, we just learned like boys are tough. You don't express yourself, don't talk about things that are, hard or what's really going on. And then fast forward to earlier this year, I had left a really great job in April because I just knew that it wasn't fully aligned with my values anymore. I intentionally said I'm not, actually, I had another job that I wanted, which I got turned down for. So then I said, you know what, I'm going to take this time to not go work. I'm going to go travel. I'm going to intentionally take that space. And I found that to be incredibly difficult. You'd think it would just be amazing. I'm in Vietnam and I'm in Italy. And I found it really I saw how much of my self-value I was deriving from my work. And since I wasn't working and I felt like I didn't know what was next, that was really challenging. At the same time, my mom got cancer.
Wow.
So that had me, and she's doing great now. But that really had me look at my relationship with her and reflect on how I grew up and really how that shaped me into the man that I am today. And then at the same time, my relationship with my girlfriend started to crumble. And so there was a 3-day span where this all really came.
Like a trifecta of things.
Yeah. And so then there was really this condensed period. So I was really struggling. And I was like, I feel like I'm supposed to, I'm supposed to have this relationship figured out. I was feeling like I was failing at that, and I thought that I was supposed to have all my work life really figured out. And I knew some of the things that I loved, but I really wanted to know how they fit together. And so then it's July 4th, where my girlfriend and I are boarding a plane from Geneva to New York, and we're literally going through the ticket thing, and she decides to stay.
Ooh.
And then, so she decides to
Sorry,
stay.
I'm not laughing at you.
No,
but
it was really hard. And so I get back to so I'm back in New York.
Yeah.
And I talked to my good friend Eduardo Placer, who's an amazing coach and just communications guy. And he's like, Spencer, you just need to enroll her back into the relationship. You just need to own, take responsibility and all this. So I said, you know what, I'm going to take responsibility for this. I'm gonna get her back. I'm really gonna man up. And so I'm
Man up.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna man up. So it's then the Thursday after the 4th of July. A couple days later, I'm in Central Park. We're all set to FaceTime, and I'm like, I'm gonna win her back. And I go through this whole thing, and she just says no. Basically, so I look up at the sky, and I just say, universe. And at this point, I have no job. I have no place to stay because I was supposed to stay. We were supposed to live together, and that fell through. A
little detail, right?
Little detail.
We're supposed to live together, and now you're in Geneva, and I'm here.
So no job, no girlfriend, no place to stay, and not really any money. So I just look up at the sky and I just say, I know it doesn't get worse than this. I surrender. And 15 minutes later, I get a phone call that I'm getting a check for $19,000.
What?
That I wasn't expecting.
Okay.
There was this insurance thing, and I had written it off.
Okay.
Literally 15 minutes after this happens, I get a check for $19,000. And at the same time as I'm on the phone, in this lobby of this building, 6 like beautiful women walk into the lobby. I just really saw that God was just saying, Spencer, it's going to be okay. I then go have a meeting with a friend, but I really decided, like, I'm going to stop pretending that I am okay. Like, I was really, really, really hurting. And for the first time in my life, I just said, like, I'm just not going to pretend about how it's going. Yeah. And so I really broke down and was able to see that, and I'm really well supported when it comes to, I have a coach, and I have a background in coaching, and I've worked with therapists and all these things. And so I realized that if I'm struggling this much with my kind of identity as a man,
there are others out there.
There are others who have far less support than me. Right. And so I just said, it's time to start doing this podcast and really having these conversations with awesome guys like you and other people, to start saying what's real. And we do it on Facebook Live, unscripted.
I've seen it.
Yes. Yeah, we do it because really awesome stuff comes out of these conversations when guys aren't scripted, when we're talking about real things that are going on in their life. And something that has really bothered me as I've been in the personal development space is there's a lot of amazing media out there, like the Tim Ferriss show, and like there's so much good stuff out there for learning. And so not disparaging it in that way at all, but what I notice is that it's always speaking to somebody, it's always interviewing somebody who seems to be at the end of their hero's journey. Right.
At the very end, they are releasing a book, or they're promoting some, spa thing that they have, a retreat of some sort. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it seems like they're willing to talk about, it was really hard getting here. And now it just seems like it's amazing.
Wow. So they don't talk about the journey. They talk about the end of the journey.
Or they talk about the journey, but then if you're just some guy who's listening to all the Tim Ferriss show podcasts.
Yeah, and who's actually in that moment where, ish hits the fan, right?
Yeah, and I just think we don't see that many examples of people being honest about how hard it is. Right. And I think as I'm in my own journey, the truth is that things have only gotten easier as I've learned to stop thinking there's some destination at which point it's easier. It's just that you learn to fall in love with the process of life, or of success, or of the challenge, and you learn that is what life is. There's no end point when things are all amazing. And so that's another piece that I'm trying to express with this, with talking to people, is that it's really actually like, let's stop pretending that let's stop, and that's what guys do as well, as we
pretend very well.
Yeah.
Especially when we have the things like the toys and, the car or whatever, right? The money, or even the women, or the man, whatever,
or the man, or whatever it is. Yeah, we secretly want to be at some destination. We know we're not there, but then we pretend to everybody else that we're kind of there, and that we're good with where we are. And so it's this whole, as boys, we're taught not to feel our feelings, or to look a different way, or to be a different way. To man up.
Something that you said.
And then as adults, we just do that in a different way.
Yeah, it's so true. Wow. That was intense, Spencer. Okay. All righty. So I guess I'm going to stop here for now for this first segment, and I'll be back. So stick with us. And this was just the first segment, guys. Be right back after this.